Back from the dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're all invited to go fucking mental.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. It is yours truly, Krystal. It is Paranormal Podcast Day. Yes, so excited. I'm here with Cat as normal. And we have just gonna bring her in. Just come on in, Cat, okay? We don't even need the introduction. Let's just do the thing, okay?
How's Krystal doing today?
Krystal is, I feel very autumn. You know what I mean? Like, I have a black hat on. I know you can't see me. I have a black hat on, and I have an orange shirt. It's like this orange, like very, I just feel like I belong in a pumpkin patch today. You know what I'm saying?
Aww,
How is
I love
Cat
that.
today? How is Cat?
Good. I went like impromptu Halloween shopping. I went
Yes.
to Five Below because Krystal had sent me a few snaps of her going to Five Below the other day, and they had like a bunch of really cool witchy books. So I was like, I need to go. So I drove 30 minutes out and then went to TJ Maxx.
Yeah, guys, if you want witchy books, Five Below has like an entire aisle full of witchy books. There's like horoscope books, there's star books, astrology books, moonology books, moon planners, I mean, literally there's even some tarot books. And like,
I got that.
Did you?
Yes, it's a tarot guidebook where it gives you like all of the info for the tarot meanings, and it's reverse state, and it's really like informative. It's a thick book. Like it's $5.
I called Kat the other day. I went shopping yesterday, and I called Kat, and I was like, I went in Five Below by accident, and it's literally packed with witchy books. She's like, I have to go tomorrow, and she literally was like gone. I was like, bye.
Yep. I got all the stuff that I needed to get done this morning, and I was like, I'm gone.
Oh my god, Jesus.
See you in 5 hours.
But so yeah, Five Below. If you're like, what's another good store that's had some witchy stuff? Home Goods has had lots of witchy stuff. TJ Maxx has had some witchy stuff.
Michael's.
See, our Michaels have nothing yet.
Really? New England is like where it's at right now.
God,
maybe we get it first
sick.
for once. We get everything last normally. So
Yeah,
maybe
I haven't tried
Halloween
Joann's. I don't like there's only 2 Joann's in the city, and one's all the way in Henderson, and then one's like way up north in like the middle of Vegas, and it's just like an awkward location. So I have to make like, now you're gonna make me have a special trip tomorrow.
Well,
like, I'm going to Joann's.
Target too, though.
See, but Target, okay, they've had a couple like witchy shirts that I saw, but nothing like Halloween out yet at Target either here.
Really?
It's abuse. It's
Weird.
absolute abuse that we're not getting witchy stuff, okay? You know why? It's because right now it's 108 outside, and they're like, they don't need Halloween shit yet.
Oh my god, that was my car the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when I sent you that photo? I went in my car after leaving it outside for like literally just an hour, and the inside of my vehicle was 108.
Which is weird for New England,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's not normal.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like 50% humidity here. So
Ew.
it's like 108, and you can't breathe. So
And water. And water's in the
and
air.
you're breathing in water, literally.
See, and ours is, our heat finally will start to dissipate next week. But it won't really, like, so, you know, hundreds is pretty normal for the summer. That's why they say from, like, June to August, don't come to Vegas. It's like 108, 110. We honestly haven't had that many super hot days, though. Normally in the summer, we'll hit, like, 114, 115. We only hit that, like, one day this summer. So we got really lucky, I think. Yeah. So the next week, at Tuesday, I think is the last day for, like, 106 day. And then it drops to like 90. So we're finally like, almost there. I hate the summers here. Like, eventually I will have a summer house somewhere else, and I will not. I do love Vegas, but I will not be here for the summers for sure.
Yeah.
It's too hot.
I don't like the summers in New England either. If I could find a place that was just
Was just summer.
year round. I'm just combobulated today, okay? The fall is like, I want to find a state or a country that's fall year round.
That'd be
Okay,
nice.
take me there.
See, spring, I think, is like the best time in Vegas. Like, it's like 70, 80 degrees. Like, February to like middle of June, it is perfect in Vegas. I'm not complaining about the winters. It's just I would probably like to be somebody that had like a winter home. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be in the snow. Like, growing up in Colorado changed my perspective on snowman. Like,
yeah, 'cause you got the worst of it.
Is New England that you've been to like Colorado? You drove through it, and like you thought you were prepared for it, but you're really it's different, isn't it?
It is. It's weird because we've had quite a few blizzards, and we actually had, I think it was back in like the early 2000s, we had a power outage for 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
Literally almost the whole state of New Hampshire was shut down with this huge ice storm that happened.
Mm-mm.
So it's like we get cold fronts pretty frequently, but then they go away after like a month. You know, like they don't stay, but in Colorado they stay.
Yeah,
and they're like,
I would love to, like, I'm gonna be buying my aunt's home. It's been in our family for generations. My uncle's not ready to get rid of it yet, but when he is, I'm gonna be buying it and keep it in the family, obviously. But you know, I'd love to like go in and renovate it and, like, you know, 2 weeks out of the winter, like, experience snow. But the problem with Colorado is it's such high elevation. Even Denver, like, Denver isn't as bad if you're like in Aspen or like Crested Butte or something. But when it snows, man, like, there's times it'll shut the city down for like 2 weeks at a time. And that's the part that I don't miss, because like then you have people that aren't from Colorado who don't know how to prep for that weather, who will literally go to the store, like when the pandemic happened, and they will wipe you out on all the food, and you don't know when you're going to be able to get to the store next because you get snowed in. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of snow I don't miss. If I could pick and choose to like be in the snow like over Christmas, you know, like for 2 weeks for Christmas, that would be fun. Yep. But like, that's it. Do I want to live in it again? You drove in the mountains of Colorado. It's rough.
Barely made it out.
I know.
I just got out on time.
Yeah.
Literally, like, the flurries were coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy, too, in Colorado because, like, the highway is so steep.
Yep.
Going, like, down.
You went through Eisenhower Tunnel, didn't you?
Oh, my gosh. Like, literally, barely we got through it. Crystal was like, go, 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 go,
I was watching Radar, and Kat's like,
What?
she told me, I'm going to be fine. Like, I've driven in snow, and I'm like, Kat, I don't think you get it. Like, this is the Rocky Mountains, and it's, like, steep, and you're driving through the mountains. And then there's a flurry, like a snowstorm that's shutting down the highway as they somehow beat it. I don't even know how you beat the snow. But you would have been snowed in and stuck on Eisenhower, and I was like, and you were sliding down the mountain, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. We were even seeing, like, the big semis,
Mm-hmm.
like, going up the mountain. Like, they had off-trail stuff for the semis.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, it's not
so
funny.
They can, like, fly off the road.
So I guess my point of this conversation is I want a milder winter than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, growing up, and then, like, you grow up, like, I would hate to have kids in Colorado, because me growing up in Colorado, like, every Halloween, I had to plan my outfits around the snow, because it was always snowing on Halloween. So you could never be, like, your cute, like, fairy outfit or whatever. You always had to have, like, a onesie underneath it. Anyway, that's my
like onesies, though. I mean,
I like onesies, too. There's a Jack Skellington one at Walmart I saw the other day. Yeah. It's like, I should have bought that. Anyway, enough about onesies. Okay. We have so much to... I don't know. I feel like people... I mean, Kat and like, when we stream, we're just, like, kind of all over the place. And I think that's what people love. But then people love Elfie in my stream, too, because Elfie's so, like, regimented. And she's, like, by the book. And she's, like, we have a lot of information to fit in here. We can't squeeze anything else in. You know what I mean? So, but Kat and I, it's fun because we're, like, all over the place. So today we're, like... We're going to talk about haunted dolls, too. But, like, there's some other tea that's, like, going around. And it's... let's start with some really happy news first.
Yes.
I have some wine in a... Kat has now got me stuck on...
Mason jars?
Mason jars. Yes, thank you, Kat. You've totally got me stuck on that. And this one says Witch's Brew on it. It's very cute. We have now officially won our 4th... That's 1, 2, 3, 4th... film festival.
Yes. It just feels good. It feels so good.
Bask in it. You know what I mean? Breathe it in. Breathe that shit in. It's like, it was, you know, like, I am humbled that my work is being recognized. And, you know, the amazing thing when you get signed with film festivals, that's usually, well, if you win film festival, I mean, you don't have to win a film festival to like get it somewhere, like get your project somewhere, but when you win a film festival, you have even more guarantees of like getting producers to reach out to you. And we're just very humbled by, life is so good right now. Am I right?
Yeah, it just feels really, it feels calm right now, and you really got to just take that when it comes, for sure, especially in a world that's so chaotic nowadays. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Well, and I mean, it wasn't just my work recognized, it was all of our work recognized. The whole crew put so much blood, sweat, and tears into it. And of course, I've talked about my struggles, which I feel like life is just, that is life. Like, everybody has struggles. And I think that that's how you relate to people, is when you overcome things and you get on the other side. You're like, yes, bitch, like, you did it. You know what I mean? And I'm just so, I never in my wildest dreams did I think we would win one film festival, let alone 4. So we are very, 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 very blessed.
Very great.
Now, along with this changing world, like Kat has mentioned, there's been some interesting things that we're having to adapt to. And I have been an extra on set for the last couple of weeks for something that I can't talk about it, so don't ask me what it is. Something that's shooting in downtown Vegas. I'm just an extra. I don't have any lines. But the world of film has now changed along with what we've gone through with the pandemic. And I've always wanted to be very clear and transparent with you guys on things that we have as challenges on this journey. And one of the challenges that we have learned is that production companies and producers and studios are absolutely requiring you to be vaccinated in order to film on set. And it's actually more than that. If you're not vaccinated, they will not allow you on set because they don't want anyone getting sick. And if you're not vaccinated, you're a liability, essentially. And on top of that, they also give you a COVID test 24 hours before you go on set. And if it's negative, you can continue, and if it's positive, you'll be removed from the set. And that's everybody, down to the PAs are being tested, up to like the biggest star, whoever's performing in it. And so we have now learned that as we move forward, that's going to be a requirement for us as well, unfortunately. And I wanted to just talk about why that's a liability. And take the politics out of it, because it's not even political if you want to do the vax or you don't do the vax. I don't really care what your opinion is, because this isn't my rules that I'm making. It's the head honchos of the industry that are making these rules. And liabilities are, they pull liability insurance out on all of us when we're filming on set, even me as an extra downtown. Right now, I have liability on me, which means if I get injured on set, they are forced to pay for it. So let's say I fall down a flight of stairs, and the medical costs are like $100,000 out of pocket, their liability insurance covers you. If you're on set and you get sick or something happens, let's say even with COVID, these people are coming out right now with $1 million bills, which is crazy because our health industry sucks. And what would end up happening if you ended up with that on set, the liability insurance would have to cover it because you became sick or made the crew sick when it happened. Now, the other thing you have to take in mind is, like, filming with a small crew, you have deadlines. You have deadlines that you have to achieve. If even one person gets sick and it sets back the deadlines, you're in really big trouble with the network or whoever you're filming for. And not only can you get fired, but that's considered breach of contract, and they can sue you for the amount of production that they basically funded for. So they see unvaccinated people as being too big of a liability with the liability insurance, and they will not allow it right now. And so that's just a new thing that we've been learning recently, and another extra thing of how our world is changing. And it's crazy. And you just kind of have to work with it, I guess. You know what I mean? You can't fight it, you just have to work with it. But, you know, Kat and Elfie both also expressed that you guys don't really want to work around anyone who's unvaccinated because we don't want to get sick and die either. I can't imagine, like, finally obtaining the dream and then you get sick with COVID and you're in the hospital for, 4 months.
That respirator.
Yeah.
I told Krystal, I'm convinced that COVID is kind of like the new age tuberculosis because of how much it affects your respiratory system, and that's, like, terrifying to think about. especially as someone with like major asthma.
Same.
You know?
Yeah, I'm a
So-
liability because I have autoimmune disease as well. So you do too.
Yep.
And but like it's crazy because you just, who was anticipating, like I don't think anybody wanted to be in the middle of a pandemic. Like this isn't fun for anybody. You know what I mean?
No, and there's no saying either when this is going to end. And I
Mhm.
think that's the scary part, but it's easier when you just go with the flow with it and just kind of trust the process as it goes along, and that's really all any of us can do.
That's true. That's
So-
true. So that's where we're at. So that's a new thing I just thought I'd throw in there because I told you guys I would let you know the process, and that's things that we're still learning on this road. So it's been an interesting road. Now there's a couple other things of paranormal tea that's been going around, and do we want to talk about Katrina first, or do we want to talk about the other thing first?
First.
Which one? Katrina first?
Katrina.
Okay, so Katrina's from Paranormal State, as you guys know, and she just tweeted last week, about a couple of days ago really, that she is now doing a new series with her other former friend from Paranormal State, but they will be putting it on YouTube. So I found that really interesting. It's called Travel with the Dead. It's premiering on YouTube. You can subscribe to her YouTube channel at youtube.com/Katrina Weidman, as I pronounce her name, Weidman. And she's saying that it's going to premiere. First episode is 9/8/21. And then the title is, or I guess the caption is, "Come travel with the dead with me and my best ghoul pal, Too Much, Heather Taddy, from Paranormal State and Alien Highway. Subscribe to my YouTube channel." Is Portals to Hell still happening with Jack Osborne? Yes, it is. This says a lot to me. Does it say a lot to you?
Yeah, it does.
It says a lot without saying a lot. I'm definitely a fan of Katrina. I've always been a fan of hers. Obviously, I love Elfie too because of Paranormal State. But let's just be real and say that Katrina's been thrown around quite a bit. It started out with Travel Channel with Nick Groff. And what was it called?
Oh my
The
gosh.
Dead something, or the Dead... I don't know.
Dead Highway or
No.
Okay, wait, let me look.
Dead Highway. That's horrible. That's hilarious. Let's do a series called Dead Highway. It's hilarious.
I think that is a show.
Is it? Oh, sorry.
I didn't think I think it was a highway. No, I think it's a show. Okay, let me see. Oh, Paranormal Lockdown. Duh.
And then from Paranormal Lockdown, it got kind of weird because Elizabeth Saint got involved. And it was like, I don't know the tea on all that. Something about Nick Groff like left his wife for Elizabeth Saint, and then it got awkward, and then like the show got canceled or moved or something. I don't even know what happened. It was so much drama. I was like, I don't even know. And then
so much tea with that.
it was bad. And then Nick did like a couple other shows, and like it was like it was scattered. It was really bad. So anyway, in the midst of it, Katrina's kind of being thrown around from like series to series. So the question is, how does that happen? Well, if she let's just play pretend, and let's say that let's just say she had a 12 episode contract, okay? No matter what, even if like Paranormal Lockdown got canceled and she needed like, I don't know, 4 more episodes or something for her contract, she would still have to fulfill the contract, which is when I think she got kind of thrown in with Jack. So the contract stays no matter what. Like, you can't bail on them. You have to fulfill your contract because it's a liability. You can get sued for it. So I think that's why she was kind of bouncing. How do you feel about her working with Jack Osborne? And he has had freaking 10 different paranormal shows. You know, lucky him, probably using Ozzy Osbourne's money. Bless his heart. I wish I had that opportunity. But he's been all over. Now he's doing something else with like a review show with Ghost Brothers. Before he was doing another review show with Ozzy and Sharon, and I think it didn't go well. So that got canceled. Like they just keep getting canceled. He was on Haunted Highway too. Like, how do you feel about Jack, and then even Jack with Katrina?
It's uncomfortable, honestly. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like he kind of came in out of the blue, and I feel like he has money, and that can get you anything you want nowadays.
True.
You know? But it's uncomfortable. Like, he's uncomfortable to watch. It's awkward.
Yeah, I find him a little cringy.
Yeah.
I find it cringy. Yeah. Like he was doing Haunted Highway too for a while, and that was cringy. I mean, I understand that he likes paranormal, obviously. Like, he wouldn't be doing it if he wasn't liking it, but as far as a host of a show, like, he doesn't stand out to me as a host. Like, to me, probably the best host in the genre is Josh Gates, in my opinion.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
I can watch Josh Gates for like 24 hours a day. Like, he
is awesome.
It is. He's funny and captivating, and like, you don't really get that with Jack. You know what I mean?
No.
But then he had another episode, like Katrina was working with him, and then Jack had another episode where he brought Kelly Osbourne on, and trust me, I'm a fan of Kelly Osbourne. But they were like fighting and bickering because it's like the brother-sister vibe. And you're right, it was cringy, and it was like, she was like getting so scared, she was just like screaming and cussing the whole time.
Yikes.
And you're like, I can't hear the evidence because you're screaming, you know what I mean? Like, so, and then you put him with Katrina, and I think that's a strange relationship. How do you feel about it?
It's awkward.
Yeah.
It's awkward and random. I feel like it's really, really random, I guess, is really the only way to describe it.
Well, and I've watched Portals to Hell. I have a lot of different opinions on it. It's hard for me to get through. I love Katrina. I think what Katrina does is great. But there was some episodes that he was investigating with the light on, too. And, like, how are you going to catch anomalies with the light on? Like, that's the point of the light being off. There was one episode he put the millimeter right in front of, like, wasn't it like a light switch or something? Like, on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And it went off, and he's like, oh my god, the millimeter just went off. And I'm like, because you put it on a light switch.
Literally.
So I mean, he's going to keep going, obviously, because he's pulled all these series out, you know, good for him. I tried to watch the one that he did with his dad, like, narrating, basically, and I love Ozzy Osbourne, but, like, Ozzy was, like, calling bullshit on, like, every paranormal thing he had. It was just, like, Ozzy, like, it's fake, like, the whole time, you know what I mean? And, like, you could get, like, Sharon looked like she was trying to get more, like, we're on camera, they're filming us, and he was like, it's fake, like, literally, like, just didn't care. So then that got canceled. So I feel like at this point, if anyone's smart, working with Jack is probably not the best place for you to be at this point.
Do you think it was, like, a ratings issue?
No.
Meaning, like, to get more traction because of the name?
No, I think that, I don't know what his credits are. I'd have to look. I don't know if he had EP credits. But I'm assuming I assume he's EP or has money, or his dad's EP. And he probably doesn't have anyone that's sort of managing it in control. And he probably doesn't have a lot of film experience. So, like, when you're EP, it's different with like a reality series or, like, doing a documentary series. Because there's really no director when it comes to, like, I mean, maybe if you're doing reenactments, but you need someone to lead it. Somebody's got to lead it. It's got to be somebody's vision. And I feel like he's kind of probably got so much money, he's just, like, throwing it at Travel Channel that they're just like, yeah, do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're funding it, so whatever.
Yikes.
Well, and he is a big name. It's Ozzy Osbourne's son. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not denying that by any means, but I think he just needed a little bit more guidance, and I don't know where he's going to find it. But the person I feel bad for in this is Katrina, because I feel like she's always leading it.
Yeah, well, she's doing the work.
She is.
She's doing all the work, literally. You know, she's carrying him along.
She is. Yeah, like,
and
he got lucky.
For her show. So I'm glad that she's doing this, you know, especially with her friend. You know?
Well, and we have, what's her name? Heather Taddy. So she was on Alien Highway. Alien Highway was with Chuck Zukowski. I love Chuck Zukowski. I know him from Colorado. He's an amazing person. But I watched that series, and it got canceled after one season, and it wasn't very good. Let's just be honest. It wasn't. Once again, why? Because I'm not seeing a vision. Like, I don't know who's running it. I don't know if there's a producer running it or an EP. There's a reason that Zach's show is the best, and it's because he's running it. He knows how film works, and he's running it. And people can get annoyed and get over it and bored with his demons and stuff, but it's still going, ho. So, you know, like...
You seasons.
Yeah, somebody
Dang.
else do 27 seasons. Like, no, no one's ever going to compete with that, period. I can tell you that right now. But somebody has to have a vision, and I feel like it's once again muting that, like, knowledge of, like, cryptozoology or UFOs or paranormal, and then meshing it with film knowledge, and that's the side we always miss, is the film knowledge. It's never always fully there.
True, and it's the most important.
Yeah.
It really is. You
Well,
gotta set the tone.
if you're, yeah, what does it look like? How does it feel? Like, what's the beginning, the middle, and the end? What's the story you're trying to tell? What's the point of it? Like, are there protagonists, antagonists? Like, you have to have all of those things involved. And so Katrina gets with Heather Taddy, and good for both of them. I love strong women, and she took it upon herself, and she's doing her own series on YouTube. You freaking get it, girl. I am so proud of her, and it honestly tells me a lot that she probably took this idea and presented it to producers, whoever, executive producers, maybe the network, and they shot it down. Because once again, she's on a show with Portals to Hell with Jack. He's funding it. And she's asking for funding, and she's a girl in paranormal, and they're like, no, you don't fit the image of paranormal. It has to be ran by a masculine male, and no other than Ozzy Osbourne's son. Yeah.
All set.
Yeah.
Your promo with Heather looks badass.
It does. I'm very proud of her. She basically took the decision and put it in her hands and was like, I'm going to do this with or without you. And that's strong female, is like not waiting around for it to happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
100%.
you know, Elfie has some stories too. She's been through a lot with film and producers, being a woman. And someday I hope she shares it. She may not. That's up to her if she shares her stories. I would never do that for her. But that's why Elfie and I got along so well, so easily, is that she really understood where I was coming from with being a girl in paranormal. And it sucks that it's just this like endless cycle of you're too feminine to be in, to run your own shit.
Yeah.
It has to be this like, you know, buff male or whatever, like, you know, a famous metal singer's son in order to run it. You know what I mean? Like, it's stupid. It needs to change. So I hope that she has success with YouTube. So I know a lot of people were messaging me, DMing me, asking me, well, if she's still on Portals to Hell, which she confirmed that with Travel Channel, how is it that she's able to run her own like series on YouTube? Because YouTube's considered social media.
Right.
And you are allowed to be in free range control of your own social media. So I'm sure she's hoping, which I'm going to watch it. I'm going to support her 100%. I think she's probably hoping that this goes well, and maybe eventually down the line she gets picked up.
I hope so.
I do too. Because
awesome.
It's crazy. So it's interesting. It must be a vibes and energy in the air that we're all feeling of there's change coming to this industry for sure.
100%.
Finally, God.
Hot.
All right. So that was T number 1.
Yes.
T number 2 is like,
Messed up.
it's a massive poo is what it is.
Gross.
So first I heard this from Amy Bruni. She obviously is her own EP. You also get it, girl. She basically posted this article saying that Facebook post from a deceased former manager of Fall River's Lizzie Borden B&B confuses friends and family members. So there's been a few paranormal celebrities that have spoke out about this. So essentially, there was a former manager that worked at Fall River's Lizzie Borden B&B. She tragically died in June. I'm not sure did you find out what she died from?
No.
I'm not sure what she died from. But anyway, she had been the manager there for quite a long time. And then out of nowhere, when was the date of this post? The post was made, I have it right in front of me, I'm just looking for it. The post was made 7 hours ago, so it was like 2 or 3 days ago when I looked at this. Basically, somebody accessed the dead manager's social media and posted this. Hello all. I'm doing well in the place I am. In other words, heaven or the other side, whatever you want to interpret it as. Max is here with me, which is her cat. He apparently died like it was either right before she did or right after she did, one of the two.
After.
It was okay. He's the best boy ever. I wish to thank you all for caring for him until we were able to be together. I wish to thank you all for the love and energy you're sending. Love to each and every one. So, of course, the first thing people are going to say is, oh, maybe she did tweet that from heaven. Are you kidding me? Get out of here.
Some of the comments did say that.
Oh,
I mean,
please.
yikes.
So, long story short is, do you think that? No.
Someone's messing with something.
So somebody in Lizzie Borden's is basically messing with her social media that was probably open and access because she was the manager there for however long she was. And basically people are calling it a sick joke. They did call, so it says Wilbur, which is the manager, passed away in early June, days after the closing sale of what's known as the Lizzie Borden house, the famous one that we all know. It says, of course, it was featured on Ghost Adventures. She was obviously a previous partner in the business and managed it since 2004. So I'm assuming with a bed and breakfast, she either lived there or lived very nearby, especially if she was that involved for that many years. It was at 1:45 p.m. August 25th when it was posted, so literally just a couple of days ago. Friends started liking the post. They started talking amongst each other. Family started talking, saying, hey, did you see, like, somebody posted from her account? Like, they made it to look like her. So Chip Coffey did respond. And Chip Coffey said, my reaction when I saw the post was, what the F? He wrote that as psychic medium and kindred spirits. A researcher for the Bordens named Stefani Corey, who is also knew Wilmer personally, said, this is not right. Whoever you are, please stop this. Also said, Rebecca Pittman, who's another author of another Lizzie Borden story or book, it said, if I saw something like this posted by my loved one who had passed away, I would find it extremely painful and insensitive. Another tour guide said, oh my God, stop this. And then somebody else said, this is beyond a sick joke and disgusting. And it just goes on and on. So essentially, some media outlets did reach out to Lizzie Borden and ask them directly if they posted it. Of course, Lizzie Borden, the new management, denied it.
Yeah.
What's your take?
Their response was cold on that. So his name is Jared Robinson. I tried to look him up because I think the paranormal group that purchased Lizzie Borden called U.S. Ghost Adventures, which is weird.
What?
Weird. Yeah, like literally their name is U.S.
Wait a second.
Ghost
How did they not get copyrighted for that?
I have with the U.S. in the beginning. I have no idea. Like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know Jared's affiliation with them, but he, and quoted, said, unfortunately, I have no idea who posted it. However, I'd be happy to ask the staff here if they know anything about it.
Oh, they're gonna get sued if somebody finds out. If Zach finds out about this, they're gonna get sued. So I just looked it up. It's U.S. U.S. literally like United States, just U.S. ghostadventures.com, and it pops up Lizzie Borden 129th anniversary. I can bet you money that that's not trademarked or copyrighted. I know for a fact Zach has Ghost Adventures trademarked and copyrighted. And if he finds out, they can get sued so bad for that, for promoting that. So that's a big... I did not know that.
Yeah, and, like, they really had it down lock and key, too. It's very vague. They don't have anybody listed on the website, because I tried to look for Jared Robinson. And apparently that quote was him responding to an email inquiring if, like, you know, someone from the house had posted on Wilbur's account.
Right.
And then he ended it saying, I could imagine that being overwhelming and upsetting for her family. And I just felt like that was
fake.
Just such a base comment of just like, yeah, well, I can imagine that could be like uncomfortable. And it's like, then figure it out, because y'all are going to be in some trouble if you don't.
So it says U.S. Ghost Adventures. It says they own 33 locations nationwide of haunted locations coast to coast. I cannot believe they haven't been busted for this yet.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's shocking. That would be like someone putting U.S. Ghost Girl Diaries.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Hard
So
pass.
it says 10,000 screams delivered, hauntings coast to coast, 33 locations. We offer ghost adventures, verbatim, from San Fran to Miami and everything in between. So they know they're trying to bank off, they're piggybacking off of Zach. So if anybody Googles Ghost Adventures, their website's going to pop up. Ooh, people like this make me want to vom, honestly.
Well, and that's why it was so hard to find information on them. And I almost wonder if they are, like, doing that purposely.
They do. Yeah.
You know? Like, that seemed a little intentional.
This is sketch. So anyway, I'm sorry, I'm like ranting because I'm pissed off. Now, if you go back to our actual topic right now, which is somebody posted from the dead manager's account at Lizzie Borden, I'm disgusted, honestly. I mean, who else would it have been? It had to have been someone involved with Lizzie Borden currently. And I think that's disgusting. I think it's gross. And what did I say on Twitter? I said, does this call for boycotting Lizzie Borden, boycotting U.S. Ghost Adventures? So they are going to literally make millions of dollars off of us, paranormal fans, going around to their locations, and obviously famously haunted locations. Yet they're going to mock the dead while they're, like, making a profit off of it. That makes me pretty much sick, honestly.
Yeah, Amy said the same thing, too, because she was like, you know, usually when the account of, like, a loved one who's passed on, you know, if it gets hacked, it's usually by bots trying to, like, scam people out of money.
Yep.
But she was like, this is an actual human somewhere, and it's just gross.
Yep.
Like, I think she even quoted, she said gross, and then posted it on Facebook. Messed up. It's disgusting. And
Yeah.
I hope that they get to the bottom of it soon,
Well,
because...
I'm sure that it will get back to Zach from this podcast that somebody has ripped him off at usghostadventures.com. So I'll just let them take care of it from here, because that's heinous to also piggyback off of him. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, what a mess. Do I want to deal with them? Not really, to be honest. I think that's gross. I think that if you have no respect for the dead, then you have no reason to be in this business. That's my opinion.
Amen to that.
So, my God, that's shocking. Did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was so confused when it was announced that they purchased the Lizzie Borden house, because I was like, oh, Ghost Adventures bought it? And there was a lot of confusion on that. There was a lot of confusion on that here in the East Coast, because we were like, oh my gosh, like, that's weird. Ghost Adventures bought a haunted location. And then it was like, no, it's U.S. Ghost Adventures. And I'm like, that sounds a little suspicious.
I know what you're doing, you little manipulators, you. You know what I mean?
You're not getting by anybody, especially now.
Oh, now it's out there, so bask in it, you know what I mean? I feel like people that do... It's true, if you put out bad into the world, the universe will repay the karmatic debt anyways, so not even worried about it. So now we're going to move into our actual topic, which is haunted dolls. So it's the reason I wanted to do this topic was a few reasons. One being, I've actually seen a lot of skeptics on TikTok. Make sure you're following us on TikTok, by the way. We have a couple thousand followers going. Woohoo! We're so excited.
Exciting!
Yeah, I need to post more on there. I'm hoping I'll be able to do that this week. But there's some skeptics on TikTok who do not believe items can become occupied by a spirit. And I was like, is it because you've never experienced an item being haunted, or do you really not believe an object can become haunted? And like, I've even seen people talking about like Zach's museum being like, oh, like everything's just a fake and fraud in there. And I don't agree with that, honestly. I don't. So how do you feel about haunted objects first?
You know, I believe it. I believe it 100%. I believe that, you know, energy and entities can create their home anywhere. Literally anywhere. And if that's a doll, so be it. And clearly, you know, especially at Zach's museum and any other crazily haunted doll that we have experienced or read about, they're very comfortable. Entities are very comfortable. And like you've said too, like, especially at Zach's museum, think about the Divid box, for example. It's, the energy likes that room. It will reside in that room. It is a part of that room now. So yeah, I 100% believe an entity can inhabit a doll. 100%.
But the misconception, I think, is this. Does the energy shrink down to be the size of that doll, and is it hanging out in plastic all day? No, not necessarily. I think that's actually kind of a ridiculous theory, But if something was attached to that doll, or maybe like their child died and like that doll reminded them of that child and they're going to stay with that doll forever, doesn't necessarily mean they're inside the doll. Now, obviously the Dybbuk box is different. I think it was designed to put energies inside. So that's a different topic. But like even did you ever watch episodes of The Haunted Collector?
Yes.
So I'm a mixed bag about that because he's like the Warrens' nephew or grandnephew or something like that. I can't remember. John Zaffis. So on one side, yes, I do believe that energies can attach themselves to items. On the other side, with the Haunted Collector, I really feel like he was scamming people. And just like, oh, this is an ancient Egyptian artifact. I have to take it to my museum. What? Like, that belongs in a real museum, first of all. And second of all, yes, of course it's haunted. It's from Egypt, thousands of years old. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't be messing with that. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Right.
I love ancient Egypt, but that stuff's just like, woo, gosh darn it. That's a whole other world.
Gosh darn it.
But, you know, I also just feel like John has such an energy, like him and Tony. Like, their energy sound, I feel like their, like, energy's the same, and that just freaks me out. Really bad. So, that's for another stream, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Tony Sparrow is who she's talking about. So, yeah, I think that anybody in that family, other than the daughter, because I don't find Judy to be that way.
Oh my gosh, she's so sweet.
She is very authentic, but I think anybody else is totally piggybacking off the wealth of the Warrens, and the whole thing is gross. I agree. Make your own name. You know what I mean? Like, can antiques be haunted? Yes. Can antique stores be haunted? Absolutely. So when I saw this on TikTok, I was like, this is interesting, because I know we know the normal, haunts of like Peggy the Doll, the Dybbuk box, Annabelle, what's another one? Robert the Doll's in Florida.
Doll.
Yep.
Ooh, that's creepy.
So we know the big ones, but like, what do you guys think? I'd love to hear comments below. Do you think an item can become, I don't want to say possessed, because that's not the right word, but like take ownership over an item and become attached to it? I mean, I think, why wouldn't it happen?
They like can entities create their home within the space of a doll.
Right.
Essentially. Like, can they inhabit a doll?
Well, and if you say no, then how do you explain like having Charles Manson's ashes on a painting, and you're going to tell me that Charles Manson still is not attached to that because it's his actual remains?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, just a different item. You know what I mean? I went to, I investigated this, I don't want to call it like, I guess it was a retirement community. But, people sometimes die alone, sadly, and they don't have any family around them. And what would happen is it was kind of like assisted living in a way, but like independent living. And if nobody came to collect the belongings within the first 7 days, the state of Colorado required this location to place the deceased belongings in the basement. Now, first of all, when I say that, I'm not talking like, oh yeah, their hairbrush and shit. Like, I'm talking like their sofa, like everything they own, their clothing, everything they owned was placed in this basement, which was very strange. It was like 8 stories down. So basically, they were having a lot of energy in this basement area, and they asked me to come in and investigate, and I did. The short version video of it is on our YouTube channel. I think it's literally like a 5 or 7 minute video, and it's called like Undisclosed Denver Location or something like that. So you can watch it. So we went down there to investigate because the owner and the manager were basically like, should we be afraid? Should we be scared of this location? And we went down, and honestly what it ended up being was like a bunch of dead people pissed that their shit was hanging out in a basement. You know what I mean? Like, they were attached to their belongings. They were not going to leave. Who knows what causes you to get stuck in the gray zone? Do you die so fast you don't know you're dead? It could be a slew of different things. Maybe you're having mental health issues and you can't get back to your body. Like, who knows? But that was the moment, my defining moment, when I realized absolutely energy can be attached to items, because I walked in that room and I couldn't even investigate in the room. I just started crying, and it was this deep emotional pain of empathetic sadness of like, why is my shit down here? You know what I mean? Like my shit's being stored in this basement. Like, why? Why is my couch like, they literally didn't know why. So I think that, like, people need to stop looking at it. I wish people looked at it not as objectively of like, oh, it's just an item somebody owned. But, like, that was a human being that was once here. It's not even, like, balancing out the thought of the haunt. Is it haunted or is it not haunted? Is something attached to the item or is it not? That item belonged to somebody at some point. They were at one point as real as Cat and I. Why wouldn't it be? Why couldn't the item be haunted? You know what I mean?
True.
Now, dolls is a whole nother story. I was really interested in chatting with you because you brought up, this was, I know we're kind of jumping ahead, which is fine. But we were talking about Island of the Dolls. And my question for you that day was, because of your Mexican heritage, Hispanic heritage, how do you feel about the Island of the Dolls and this person saying they found this little girl dead and that to keep her spirit away and, like, keep her happy, he hung thousands of dolls all over? How do you feel? Like, do you think that relates to your heritage? I wanted to know. I was genuinely curious.
To be honest, especially with the unfortunate way that Julian ended up passing away, literally the same way as the girl.
And that was the guy that, like, owned the island.
Yeah, he was the one that found the girl, and he was the one that hung up all the dolls on the wall. I can't tell you how many different paranormal shows I've seen investigate there, and I feel this sense, and I don't know if it is because of my Mexican heritage, my Hispanic heritage, but I feel this overwhelming sense of I don't need that. Like, I almost feel like someone's saying, like, why are you doing that? And getting agitated to, like, try to help when they don't, like, want help is kind of the energy that I always feel when I look at pictures or when I see people, you know, investigate there. And I'll be honest, like, I think that the girl does reside there still, but I think she just wants to be left alone. I think that was really traumatic for her. And, you know, Hispanic heritage, especially on the brujeria side, is very spiritual and very serious about ancestry, as would really any culture, but with Hispanic culture especially. And I think that she is literally still processing, like, what happened, and is not ready to cross over. And I think that having somebody kind of, like, even if it was out of the goodness of his heart to put those dolls up, to have some form of comfort, I think she was just like, leave me alone, you know. And especially it started getting really dark, and I think it has started to affect him because she's like, stop, you know. The energy was very much like, stop. And then there's, like, severed limbs, like, being hung, and, like, decapitated heads, and, like, really grotesque dolls. So it's almost like it just kept getting darker and darker because this guy wasn't getting the hint.
Well, and my question to you too was, just because, once again, your heritage, because I would want to be asked if it was related to the Native American side, but at what point do you see this happening? Like, because we know that to get to the Island of the Dolls, it's very remote. You have to take, like, a little squishy boat out to the middle of nowhere, surrounded by water. My question to you is, at what point is it a mental health question? At what point do we ask, was he mentally well? Because, you know, hanging up a few dolls is one thing, but when you took it as far as he did, you're right. And then he became so obsessed with it. Was it an OCD issue? Is it a mental health question? Like, now we are in a point where we can talk about mental health openly. And why is he taking dolls apart and hanging their arms and limbs and their heads and, like, you're right. At what point do we say, are we concerned about the girl's spirit being here, or what was wrong with him? What was he going through that was so traumatizing and then did he manifest his own death to end up being just like hers?
It's true. I think it was a mixed bag of both. I think whatever she was going through, if she's still processing that and her agitation, I think that he's processing, or was processing, trauma of finding a dead body in the water.
True.
And he had processed that, and I think there was a sense of guilt coming from him of not being able to save her, and that was his way of, like, giving an offering, you know, to try to appease her, or say,
now, is that brujeria?
Yes, that would be considered brujeria.
So you would essentially say he was practicing witchcraft to keep the, quote, evil spirits away by hanging up things to be in lieu of the ancestors.
I think unknowingly, yes. And it took a dark turn. It took a dark turn, for sure.
Which brujeria can be, some people claim, I think all magic can be considered dark at some point or another. Yep. But was he alone on the island? Like, it is sad, you know, like, he's alone on this island, he found a dead body, like, it is sad, you know, especially a child, innocent child. But it is crazy to me he left it up there, and it's even still up there, because the part that I think, I guess this is going to be a really girly response, but I've seen so many, you know, shows where they've gone to the island of the dolls, but those dolls are infested with bugs and spider eggs and spiders, because it was cotton. It was like, it essentially became a breeding ground for insects. So that's the part that, like, freaks me out and grosses me out too, is like, but now with brujeria, do you think the reason they haven't been removed is because it's sort of become a shrine and you know not to remove it now, right?
When you give the intention, especially when it comes to ancestry, because that's something that I use in my practice with my Spanish tarot cards when I'm wanting to commune with my spirit guides or, like, my ancestors, my Hispanic ancestors, when you give an offering, you don't take it back. It's there. Like, don't touch it. That's theirs, whether they wanted it or not. I just heard something move.
But my question is, why hasn't this been explained through other shows? They're scared to talk about the brujeria / witchcraft side?
I think that, and I think the Hispanic culture and getting it right is really important. And it's really hard to mesh together brujeria and Latin culture together in an accurate sense, because a lot of Hispanic culture now is very Catholic. So I think that's why it's kind of like you avoid it. But the island itself, Muñecas, I believe it's called, Isla de la Muñecas, is like a hot spot. I think it's a portal. Because it's literally in like a swampy area. And its energy in itself, even without that situation happening with that poor girl, is just like dark. It's heavy. So how do you, someone asked, do we think possession was a culprit related to him being so upset? Like, was he possessed by the little girl, essentially? I think it's still related to brujeria, personally. I do too. I mean, he was claiming that he was haunted by the little girl. So if anything, I think it was paranoia, to be quite honest. And finding a dead body, I mean, how would you respond to that? Well, yeah, you know, I mean, PTSD. You found a dead little girl and floating. And that guilt, yeah. Nobody. Like, he only had himself in the island, and he just kept being drawn back there and back there and back there. I mean, it's literally insanity when you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And it just, well, and when you go through trauma, and I mean, everybody's been through trauma, but I mean, that's some trauma. It does strange things to your brain that they literally don't. Like, I mean, I know, because I was in a relationship with a soldier for 8 years who deployed to both Afghanistan and Iraq. And when you experience trauma with your brain, they don't even know how to explain what happens, because you've experienced such trauma, things that you really shouldn't see or experience as a human. And did he try to pull her out of the water and, like, probably tried to revive her or something? I mean, your brain would think automatically, you see someone drowning or floating, pull them out, try to revive them, then you can't. Now you're stuck with a dead body. For how long she'd been in the water, we don't know. Maybe she was starting to rot in the water. That was probably traumatic to see skin rotting. I mean, you got to think about really in-depth critical thinking about what surrounded this, and it probably did mess him up. And if he was being haunted by her or not, could have been trauma, PTSD, images that he kept seeing, thinking she was haunting him or having nightmares. It was probably both. Could have been both related with trauma. Now, do I think the island is haunted? 100%. I've seen it is. I've seen shit move on. The Ghost Adventures went there. I can't remember if Ghost Hunters went there. I know I've seen every episode of it. But you're right, I agree. Do I think it's the little girl, like, making the noises and the things moving? No. I think when you have, like Kat said, essentially an offering. And a mini. I was trying to think of a word for plural, you know what I mean? Like, Yeah.
I mean, that's literally thousands of offerings of vessels, I guess is a great way to put it.
Well, and it's crazy because you think about like when you give something to someone, right? Or like when you're giving an offering on the craft path or in brujeria or any craft practice, you're giving something with an intention behind it that creates energy in itself. Now, even if your intention is good, if there's a dark force there or a not so good entity there, that can morph into something else, unfortunately. Like, we don't really have control over that. But this was over 50 years that he was putting these dolls in this area. 50 years. I mean, craziness. So
well, yeah, after 10 years, the dolls that were already there, even if it was 10 of them, they would have been rotten by then.
Oh, yeah.
So now you're thinking of that many. But yeah, you have these empty vessels, essentially, that are sitting there, where Kat says now it's a portal. Somebody asked, do you think Latin people are very superstitious?
Very. Those that don't practice brujeria or curandera, because there's two different. So curandera is a part of the craft practice that's more of like the white, like good magic.
Good witch.
No, I was going to say white magic, but I didn't mean it like that. I meant like, good magic.
You didn't mean white people like me. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what I meant. That's what I was trying to say. But, and they're energy healers. So they work with energy. They work with plants. Very much like you think of like the green witch vibes. Right. That's curandera. Then you have brujeria, which is like a step further where you really start to incorporate like, deeper craft practices and working with, everything else in ancestry and spirituality.
Offerings.
And spirit. Yep. And those two can sometimes get really confused. But it's...
So why... Here's another question. Is superstition involved too? Why is publicly, especially like most recently, I can think of Ghost Adventures did an episode about brujeria. And it's always presented as black magic. And that is not the case.
No.
Why is it presented that way? It's like Salem witches, like you say, I practice witchcraft and suddenly burn me at the stake and you're like putting hexes on people.
Yeah, I mean, a large portion of Latinx community is very Catholic, and I think that there's just a fear. I think it's just like we, Americans, right, would have that fear of you're Catholic and you're practicing witchcraft. They think it's dark magic and you sold your soul to the devil.
Right.
It's like that, but within this Hispanic community, they think it's just bad. It's all bad.
So if you get like a sign and it's somehow negative, it's bad and it's superstition and it's just bad and like be careful, basically.
I think curandera has more respect than brujeria because curandera is kind of used as a form of like energy healing. So it's almost like modern day Reiki, but with herbs and oils and natural substances.
Like shamanism with Native Americans.
Absolutely. But brujeria, when you add the spirit and like communicating with the other side aspect to it, that's very scary. But I find that very interesting though, because a lot of Catholics within the Latinx community practice and celebrate Dia de los Muertos, where they go and leave offerings for their ancestors and they bake, pan de muerto, which is, bread of the dead. And they go and spend an evening in the graveyard with their ancestors. So, that is also part of brujeria, whether they believe it or not. But it's the same as here in our culture, where you put a star on top of your Christmas tree, like you've talked about.
Pagan.
That's paganism, exactly. Like, so it's pretty much the same thing, but just within a different culture.
Well, that's like with particularly the Navajo. So there's obviously lots of different tribes of Native American. Indigenous Cherokee. So my Cherokee ancestors practice things much different from the Navajo. But I have a really good friend named Tori who's Navajo, and they believe the skinwalker is essentially not just anyone can become a skinwalker. It has to be a burdened or angry or unlucky shaman, or sometimes druid, depending on where you're practicing. And basically the shaman, they do consider a witch, but a doctor healing witch within the tribe. And then that shaman somehow did bad and turned to the dark side, and that shaman has now become the skinwalker who lures people in to like kill them or feed on them or whatever, and because of their dark magic. So it's this, I get it, because people don't realize with indigenous tribes, with my tribe, it's completely different than the Navajo. they're not all going to be the same. They're not going to all practice the same spiritual beliefs. They're definitely not going to have the same rituals for sure.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that shamans can sometimes be seen as dark or witches because they were the healers of the tribe. And in question, they're practicing magic to essentially heal you with, like what you said, with herbs and greenery and all, same thing. So people don't realize it. So, okay, so someone also asked another question saying, do you think that because of his trauma that it led him to pass the same way as she did because he was so traumatized by it?
That's hard. That's a hard question.
I mean, I don't think there's a right answer here, but I will say that I think everything we do in our life is pre-planned. I don't think anything's a coincidence. I think that we plan everything in our life path before we come here, good and bad, as hard as that is for some people to swallow. Because if it's even the bad stuff, you have things to learn from it, and the good stuff, you have things to learn from it. And maybe he was intuitive. I mean, I'm not questioning him being spiritual because he was doing all this for 50 years. But maybe he had a sense he was going to die similar, and he saw that in a way of trying to ward it off by hanging these dolls. You know, like, there's no coincidence that he found a child dead like that, obsessed over it for 50 years, and then turned around and died the same way. That's not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences.
No, I have a theory that when he, obviously, I mean, finding a dead body in the water, no one wants to find that.
Mhm.
I think there might have been something intuitively that struck him as maybe familiar.
Mhm.
And that led him into a panic of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to avoid this at all costs, and then it ends up happening.
Well, maybe the lesson for him, as dark as it sounds, was to find the dead body and to either spiritually grow from it
Mm-hmm.
or succumb to his trauma, which essentially I think is what he did. As sad as it is. But now let's talk about the island, and like you said, there's a portal, and like you said, or like I said, there was empty vessels. So do you think empty vessels like that, especially in the form of a being, and what I'm saying being is, you know, let's take this thumbtack box, for example, okay? Do you think an energy would rather inhabit this thumbtack box or inhabit a doll that looks closest to being a human?
Oh, absolutely.
Probably the doll, right? Like, probably the doll.
I mean, it won't mess with the thumbtack box, okay?
Right.
I'm just saying. But absolutely the doll.
Absolutely
It's
the
familiar.
doll. Mm-hmm. Now, you're also going to start mixing in other things here, and if you're talking about a portal being there, I've never been there, so I don't know. I agree with Kat. I think that the energy there is very strange. I'd love to go there, but the thought of trying to get like a little boat out to the middle of nowhere island with all the film equipment, that sounds like something I do not want to combat, to be honest with you. Because you're talking about taking an entire film crew along with 100 bags full of equipment. The equipment is not lightweight, and you have nowhere to charge your equipment. You'd have to probably take some sort of generator with you, or two of them for backups. And now you're talking about combating the elements. It could rain, the flies, the insects, the mosquitoes, like that. I don't do outdoor locations because it's a pain. And
yeah, it's really dangerous out there.
It is. It's dangerous. And the wind and wildlife, and how many boats do you have to take with all your equipment? Because you could sink a boat easily with film equipment. You know? So anyway, yeah, that's my tea on that. But the people that have gone, it does make you wonder, is there a portal and they know that it's secluded? But then you could start incorporating things outer worldly, like, I don't know, fairies, gnome beings. And I feel like things like fairies and gnomes would be very in tune to finding a bunch of little dolls hanging from a tree on an abandoned island, because they can sort of run the island themselves. You look at places like Scotland or Ireland, they believe so much. I'm very Irish, and so is Kat, and I'm also Scottish. You go to these places, and you even can look it up online. They believe so much in the lore of gnomes, fairies, all that stuff. They will build highways around or over forests so that it does not affect the fairies and make them angry. So you're going to tell me that a country or two countries that are much older than the United States but have believed in this for how many hundreds of years, to the point where they literally will not disrupt the forest? Why wouldn't something like that want to inhabit in a doll's body?
True.
Like, to me, that makes the most sense. You know what I mean? Like, so the question for everybody is, do you think he's still around? Do you think she's still around? I don't know. I haven't been there. I haven't felt the energy. But do I think other creatures and beings have inhabited those? For sure. Do you think it's more than one thing?
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Someone left a comment that's really interesting. There's a reference that during the Mexican Revolution, dead bodies were dumped in the canal.
That could be as well.
Yeah.
You know.
I'd love to do more digging on that for maybe a future stream or something,
Mhm.
just to find out more, because it's really interesting with Spanish lore and like the history of things like that, because it's very cryptic. There's not many stories that you find that you can like easily find on Google. It's always by like word of mouth and
Yep.
very family and close-knit oriented. So I'd love to do some more digging and
For a
find out.
reason, though, usually. Especially, it's like, same with my Cherokee culture. It's like, this stays in the tribe and you don't share it, period. That's why, like, I cringe so hard on social media when I see people like, I'm learning to become a shaman. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't get to choose to be a shaman. You're chosen from the tribe, period. And you're put through, like, a lot of tests to do it. And you can't read a book and say, I'm going to become a shaman. That's not how it works. You know what I mean?
Well, and the same thing with brujeria. You know, if you are practicing bruja or brujo, that does not mean that you are practicing black magic or dark magic, you know? Because I can't remember. I think I made a post once talking about it and, you know, just learning about it, expanding my knowledge with my Hispanic heritage and on the craft path. And someone was like, oh, isn't that dark magic? Isn't that evil? I'm like, well, you know, everything, I guess, is evil to an extent if that's your intention, you know?
Catholic Church. How much money a
You
year
just
did
told
they?
us.
Yeah, how much money a year does the Catholic Church make off of donations? And they use it for the pedophilia that's going on behind the scenes for their attorneys. You want to talk about black magic? There you go.
We won't even talk about the most recent one, okay?
I haven't heard. Oh my God, I'll get triggered.
Nope, don't.
Yeah, everyone gets mad at the billionaires who are making money, like Elon Musk and what's Bezos. Yet they're not looking at the Catholic Church, who's literally bringing in millions and millions and millions of people's money, and it's never going to the people. It could literally cure world hunger. And nobody wants to blame the Catholic Church because they're a nonprofit and they're there to pray and help God and baby Jesus and all this stuff. It's like, okay, maybe you should be pointing the finger at the right people. You know what I'm saying?
True. I mean, nothing against Jesus, but it's the people that run it. It's the people that run it, okay? Don't tell me otherwise.
I don't like organized religion. Don't get me on that rant, because I will stand on a soapbox and you will not get me off of it.
Yep. Right there with you. With the megaphone.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, and there's light and dark with everything, though. Like, even just with the church. I'm not saying everybody in the Catholic Church is bad, but there's plenty of bad ones to, like, make it balanced out, which is just like witchcraft. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's crazy. I just need to breathe. I get really worked up with stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be fine. Yeah, I know. I get hot. I need a fan. I need, like, need a fan. Jeez. Someone said, I love Amazon. Amen. I couldn't live without Amazon, even though I think it's ridiculous that Bezos just went in a rocket to fall back down to Earth. But you know what? If you were a billionaire, you would probably do it too. So just let it go to Jesus. You know what I mean?
That's true. Someone wrote, I could only imagine the crazy things you'd see if there was a 24/7 live stream of that island. I'm telling you right now, based off of the humidity itself, with that area being just surrounded by water, it's probably going to shut off within like the first 20 minutes.
That's true.
Because of how hot it gets.
Well, yeah,
out
there's
there.
no outlet, okay? You'd have to have some sort of a generator, which is my other concern with going to somewhere like that.
Look, okay, if I see a floating doll head within those 20 minutes and then the camera shuts off, maybe, but
I
don't
did
know.
an outdoor location, a big one time in Colorado, and I mean, I had a camera tech that fell down the mountainside and almost slid into a river. Yeah, Kat's like, I don't want to fall in a river, okay? Like,
Yeah, no, not that. Thank you.
I did, and then there was a mountain lion. There was a mountain lion that was stalking us. They don't usually, like, attack, but if you're, like, close to their nest and they have babies or they feel threatened, like, they'll attack. And I'm talking when it's pitch black, you're in the middle of nowhere, there's no lights. Like, there's no street lights to, you know what I mean? And, like...
Having a flashback to the pilot.
Then we got to this, there were 3 haunted tunnels that we were going to investigate. We got to the 3rd one, and there were people that trekked, I'm talking miles, into the middle of nowhere, because they'd shut these tunnels down. They were haunted, and they had, like, trauma. Little kids died in buses. Anyway, we finally got to the 3rd tunnel, and I'm like, no one's going to be out here. It's literally, like, 4 or 5 miles in the pitch black. We get there, and there's these people just having a party in the middle of nowhere, in this tunnel, drinking and doing drugs. I'm like, y'all are going to fall down this mountain and die. And they're shooting guns off inside the tunnel, and I'm waiting for one to ricochet and just hit my camera tech in the head. So outdoor locations suck royally for so many reasons. You can't see a mountain lion or a moose come in to run you over. You know what I mean? And it's scary.
My gosh, a moose.
Yeah, they have those in Colorado. We have them everywhere.
We have them here too.
Yeah, you have to be careful, man. They will step on your car, and that'll be the end of it. Like those are no joke. Those when they're an adult, they are gigantic. Anyway,
They're
right.
huge.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Yeah, they're
Both
dangerous.
people going down. Okay, the moose and the person.
We almost hit a deer once by accident. They have deer whistles in Colorado, thank God. So there's not a lot of dead deer everywhere. Pennsylvania is horrible. My God. There's dead deer every 5 feet. It's fucking horrible.
So sad.
It is.
Oh my
It makes
God.
me sick because it's so many. So we have deer whistles, but we almost hit one driving one night. I was going to Central City with my ex, and he had like a brand new Mustang GT, and we just missed a deer, and I mean, it would have killed us probably. It would have killed us. So
They
yeah.
jump out of nowhere sometimes, and you're like, it's trying to stop. I'm trying.
Yeah, I haven't hit one, thank God. I don't want to. I've known people though in Colorado, their car is just absolutely totaled. Absolutely totaled. Yeah.
I know someone that happened to, yeah.
And most of the time, the deer is okay, honestly. Like, most of the time, the deer makes it because they're so massive. But Pennsylvania, oh my God, Jesus. Somebody needs to use their tax dollars to put whistles up because it's a morbid. I hate driving through It is, isn't it morbid? Yep. It's gross. I mean, mutilated. Oh God, I can't look. It's one state I said I'd never go back to, and I meant it.
You started on the does, okay? That's sad. It's sad.
It is for an empath. It's horrible. All right, Robert the Doll. Let's start with him. So he started in Germany, and he's still chilling now. He's down in Florida, right?
Yes.
He's just still going. You know what I mean?
Still going. His little sailor outfit.
I know, he doesn't look scary to me. And, like, there's been people online, because I've had people message me that were like, I didn't take it serious, and I went to Florida, and I saw Robert the Doll, and, like, I talked smack to his picture. And I'm like, he's not ugly. Like, why would you talk smack to him? You know what I mean?
He's actually kind of cute.
He is kind of cute. I don't think, but, you know, as a girl, did you have dolls growing up?
Yeah, I did have American Girl dolls. And I was a Barbie person.
Oh, you were bougie.
Yeah.
I was clearly lower middle class, so I did not have American. I don't know.
Did you have? Well, I mean, I had like the hand-me-down American Doll. I never got the brand new.
Yeah, I don't even think American Doll was in Colorado, to be honest with you. But not till later. Yeah. Nobody wants to come out there because it's just mountains in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? At least you're. Well, no, you're New England. Like everything's in New England. You know what I mean? But
I guess that's fair.
I did have dolls. I had a lot of dolls. I loved dolls. There were 2 twin dolls I had, that I had like a baby stroller for. Did I ever think that they were haunted? No, I don't. Are you afraid of dolls? Let's ask that. I'm not afraid of dolls.
No.
Even the haunted ones, I'm not afraid of dolls. I don't think anything should be disrespected, though. You know what I mean?
It's true. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I walk into an antique store and see a creepy-ass looking doll, it's creepy, but I'm not scared of it.
Right.
I mean, it's just got a weird vibe.
What did you think of Peggy? Because you went in there, didn't you?
Yeah. Peggy's interesting. Peggy's interesting because I think she knows the effect that she has on people, and I definitely didn't mess with it. I didn't mess with it.
Do you think she's demonic?
I don't.
Me neither.
I don't.
Mm-mm.
I think she likes giving people a heart attack. You know, like
malevolent.
Literal,
yeah, malevolent. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and she feeds off of that.
I do. Yeah, she loves fear.
It's true because, like, if you've read some of what people have said about her and like with her. Sorry, I'm like
somebody said Robert the Doll's so cute, somehow fitting for Florida, and I'm sorry, I just sorry.
Gosh,
no politics, guys. I'm just gonna straighten up for a second, okay? It's fine.
Yeah, we're gonna. It's fine. It's fine.
That was pretty good. That was good. You win the comment for the night. That was good.
Yes, comment winner. When you read some of the claims of people that have experienced Peggy, they are very specific in saying, like, she does give off really intense energy, especially if you go into the location ready to experience it. But as soon as you put up the boundary to say stop, Peggy, she stops. I feel like a demon wouldn't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So maybe that's just my only take on it.
Yeah, I've never been attacked by her or anything. I don't think she's demonic. I think she likes power. I think she's power hungry. I think she likes anybody. I think if you go in with a group of people, they usually only send in like 5 to 7 people at a time. But I think that out of a group of 5 or 6 people, especially if it's a malevolent energy, it can tell who's the most scared. Why? Because we give off electromagnetic fields when we're scared, when we're shouting, when we're mad. And if you go in calm, you're not giving off EMFs. So she's looking for the person who's giving off the most EMFs so that she can manifest and do something to that person or call them out or cuss them out. So absolutely, I agree 100%.
She's big.
Yeah.
Like, she's a big doll. I never, like, tall. But I was not expecting her to be that tall based off of photos.
Yeah, I think she's like a 1950s doll or something like that, I think. Because I remember my mom having a doll that looked sort of similar to her. But anyway. Okay, so Robert the Doll. So he started in Germany. He was made in 1904. He was bought by the grandfather of Robert Eugene Otto as a gift from the overseas. And he was named after the little boy. The sailor outfit is what made him an iconic figure in paranormal. And now he basically ruins people's lives if you talk smack to him or about him, essentially.
Yeah, there were also claims that people could hear loud giggling and, like, his rocking chair would move and you could hear footsteps.
Now, I cannot comment and say if I know if he's demonic or not because I haven't been in the presence of the doll. You can definitely tell the difference, though, I'll say that. Like, that's why I get so annoyed with so many demon shows because it's rare. It's it happens, but, like, when you're around that kind of a haunt... Have you been around? You've been around Annabelle.
Annabelle, man.
It is. You cannot miss it. Like, if you're around something that's serious, like actually demonic, you'll never forget the feeling. And I told you that before you went there.
Yeah. And we had the Conjuring mirror there too. We had the double whammy.
But it's something that's not it's not like Peggy where you just mosey on in there. You know what I mean? Like it makes an actual effect in the whole energy field, like within the room. So in my opinion, do I think Robert the Doll is demonic? No. Is he malevolent? He probably feeds off people's fears. Also, can people manifest their own karma? 100%. If you go into Robert the Doll's room and you talk smack to him, there might be a portion of you that walks out with a guilty conscience thinking, I probably shouldn't have done that. And then if your life falls apart, you probably manifested it. But isn't Robert the Doll the one that people have, like, sent mail, like, apologizing to Robert, and they asked, like, the owners to read the mail? Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Just don't disrespect the dead, period, and you won't have to write a damn letter. I feel like that's the easy answer, okay?
Okay, you don't have to send a wax-sealed letter.
From
Robert
1904.
in a cheap-ass outfit and a rocking chair, okay?
Oh my god, he's cute!
He's really cute, though.
Yeah,
he is cute!
I know, why would you talk smack? He's cute. I don't think he's ugly.
Now I need to crochet a Robert the Doll.
Oh my god, you should do it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make a little sailor outfit. All right, keep an eye out, folks. Okay,
Oh my god, that would be so cute.
Like a mini Robert the Doll.
Do it. Yeah, he's cute.
I'm gonna do it
Anyway,
now.
I don't find him
Getting
scary.
all excited.
Yeah, and you
He's
know what?
cute.
If you talk shit to a doll that's that cute, something's wrong with you. Okay, you need to go look in the mirror for a minute and be like, what kind of issues do I have to decide to fly to Florida to talk smack to this doll that's very cute? Okay, what trauma are you hiding, boo? Okay, don't take it out on Robert. No, I'm just kidding. Poor Robert. Okay, Annabelle. Now I'm gonna let you cover this because I've never met Annabelle. You got the privilege to meet Annabelle in person.
Yeah.
And you had some issues obsessing over her for a while.
Yeah, there were some issues there. So the summary of Annabelle is Annabelle was gifted to Donna, who was a student nurse, and it was gifted to Donna by her mother. And Annabelle at first started making small movements in the home, or they would put her somewhere, and then she would be on the bed, or she'd be randomly in a chair. Creepy stuff like that. And then
And wasn't her daughter a nurse, or was that the second girl that it was gifted to?
The mother?
Yeah, or was it the mother that was a nurse?
I think Donna.
Donna was in nurse student. That's right.
Nurse. Yeah. And the movements.
So basically, when she was at college in her dorm, the doll was just making itself at home, just chilling in the dorm.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I'm gonna be honest, they ended up hiring a psychic to see what was going on because they claimed they could hear a little girl, or there was a little girl crying or something like that. And I blame the psychic for maybe creating this problem.
I agree. I am so happy somebody said it.
Yeah, no, she was wrong.
Okay, okay, let me say this. Okay, something could have already been attached to the doll for sure. I agree.
Yes.
Do I think it was as bad as it turned out to be? No. Maybe even after the Warrens took it, it ended up being worse than it was, and something else inhabited it that was actually dark. So I agree with Kat. I don't think that it was necessarily started out demonic. I think that over time something realized that was a vessel for something else, and then eventually was taken over by said Lucifer, I don't know, whoever the F is in there.
Well, yeah, it's true though. I mean, who really knows? But Annabelle's really big too. It's a big doll.
Yeah, she looks like Raggedy Ann, the real one.
She just and you'll see her hand move, or her legs. If her legs were crossed, they'll come uncrossed. It's interesting. But after the incident with the psychic saying it's the soul of a girl that died within the home is residing within the doll. And it just wants to feel love is kind of essentially what the psychic was. Yeah, gross.
Yeah, really, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, after that, weird automatic writing stuff started happening, and notes were variously being spread throughout the home.
This is
saying,
Donna's.
Help us, help me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the doll was found in her usual spot in the bed, but there was blood on her hands. There was blood on Annabelle's hands, and that's when some stuff started going down. Real dark.
So, okay, I want to bring this up just because we have to.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that say, because, my Aquarius moon brain's let's play devil's advocate, because it's my favorite thing to play in the world. A lot of people say the Warrens were frauds. A lot of people say, which they had some issues. Okay, I'm not going to deny that. We've talked about that a few times.
About that.
Yeah, I don't want to pour into that tea tonight because there's not enough time in the world. But do you think this was fraudulent? Do you think that maybe it started out not as bad till later because they took the doll? Because you've been in the presence of it. So, which not a lot of people have. You're one of a very small handful of people that have actually gotten to be sit within inches of Annabelle. So because of that, I want to take your eyewitness account and credibility of an empath I want it to be important. I want people to listen and critically think about it. As far as you know, when you were in presence of it, you do believe it's something extremely dark and definitely demonic. Ew, you cut out for both of those.
She does this every time, you guys. I apologize in advance if some weird stuff with the technology happens with me.
Every time.
Yeah,
you really think she still has an energetic highway to you?
I do. especially after the incident that occurred, after I left the event, and there was an accident that occurred with some other skeptics that were at the event as well. There was like a really bad motorcycle accident with these two skeptics that were in the building. They were sitting right behind me, by the way, and we're like, this is just a doll, what are you talking about, this is so stupid, as we're listening to like possessions happening from people.
Right.
Because at this time Tony was telling us a little bit about the legacy of Ed and Lorraine Warren, and we had like inside scoop with the tapes of them doing exorcisms and things like that. And I'm like, I swear to God, if something follows me home because of your ignorant butt, I'm gonna have some problems with you, okay?
I don't think it was because of them, but I think it went ahead and
No.
They want to know, what did she feel like being in her presence, like specifically? How do you describe a demonic haunting?
Heavy. So she was in her box. They have like the Lord's Prayer etched on the back. She's wearing a rosary, and they put holy water on it like constantly. They had the box covered in a black tapestry for about 2 hours. The event was about 2.5 hours. And for the last 20 to 30 minutes, after we were talking a little bit about the history, as soon as Tony Spera lifted the black tapestry off of Annabelle's case, it was like an energy just like shifted in the entire room. It literally felt like a wave of heavy energy, and time slowed down, I guess is really like the best way I can describe it. Any movements you were making, even to stand up, to get a picture with the doll, because I had a picture with her, to get up to talk to people, like you felt like you were walking in slow motion. It was almost like walking through molasses, I guess is the best way I can describe it. I felt that same exact way in the Demon House room at Zach Bagans Museum, which was really the only way for me to kind of like understand that familiar energy already, which is why I'm convinced she does have a demonic presence to her, absolutely. Everybody in the room also, within that first 5 minutes of the black tapestry being taken off, were very loudly complaining of headaches and having migraines, and about half of the people at the convention left within the first 5 minutes of Annabelle's tapestry being taken off. So she's the real deal, guys, 100%. And the experiences that I had during and then after were startling, and since those moments I've always felt like she's just always there every time I mention her. For sure, but I know how to instill the boundaries and take care of that, and Krystal was really helpful with that within the first instincts of that oppressive feeling, like that. Like
you felt like you were being like heavily oppressed by her for a while. Yep, 100%, like caught off, like staring at a wall for a while, and not really knowing what was going on. Very disassociative, not myself, having that same energy at home of like moving really slowly, not really being able to move, but like my head working at a normal speed, if that makes sense. And I had taken a picture with her, and I went out to go and grab a bite to eat with a couple of my friends that went to the convention as well. And I was apparently obsessively looking at the photo I had with Annabelle for like 30 minutes. I was like straight up just staring down at my phone, staring at Annabelle. And I didn't know it until somebody pushed me out of it, because it was just freaky. You weren't engaging in conversation. You were like literally...
I totally immersed, like it was like just focused on her. And I get like really hot and like goosebumpsy when I talk about it, because it was like weird, very weird energy. But I'm grateful to have experienced it. I really am. And that was the whole point why I wanted to go, was to experience that energy and what that felt like, because of being a newbie in paranormal. Like I want to have that understanding, like I want to experience that. And having experienced that at Zach Bagans Museum as well, I was like, okay, I get it. I understand what this feels like now. And I posted it onto social media, the photo of Tony at the time, which is now taken down, and the photo with Annabelle, and I deleted them completely off of my phone. A few days after that, it took me a while to get out of it, out of that energy, out of her energy. And I probably filmed the YouTube video, like 3 times, Krystal?
I think it was more.
I tried filming a YouTube video like 3 or 4 times, maybe even 5 times. And every time I would do it, something would happen, or
the computer would shut down, like the file deleted itself, like...
Yep. There were also moments of me completely disassociating within my conversation. Like it was scary, where like I would look back on the footage before it would go away, and there was 20 minutes of me just like stop talking and just staring.
And
that
movement
was,
in your house, you'd hear like doors slamming shut.
it
Things
was in
would
this
drop.
room.
Things would drop. That was me. Sorry. Everyone's like, oh my god, I heard something.
Yeah, no, it was in this room that I was recording it, and yeah, very heavy, very, very heavy energy. But I'm grateful again to like have had the experience, because I know when that comes in, or if I have that feeling, I know exactly what I need to do now. Like, get on it, don't let it sit. Absolutely not. So that was an experience in itself, for sure. And Tony was very specific, Tony Spera, on the people that were running this Paracon. Krystal was going to come out as well to come see it, but some things came up, and he was very explicit in saying, we are not, like, the Warrens Museum is not just a free-for-all, like, if you want to have Annabelle at your convention, that's not how it works. He was like, unless you are direct friends or direct family and we trust you, you will not be seeing this doll. So, I was friends with the person whose paranormal group was running the convention, and there you go. Like, I was able to get in on that experience. So, really crazy. I don't think the Conjuring mirror helped at all, to be totally honest, because it was completely opposite of Annabelle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So,
wow.
Yeah, like, they unveiled it at the same time, and I think that was just kind of like a double whammy.
Well, mirrors are portals anyways, so...
Well, it's that, and, like, there was literally an hour straight of just listening to people, like, being exorcised of demons. Like, literally, it was just
They're like, oh, we're home, this is great, you know what I mean?
Literally, though, yeah, I'm laughing.
Dark humor, sorry.
Dark humor, but, yeah, wow, what an experience, and I'll be honest, like, I would see her again. 100%.
So do you think you have an unhealthy addiction to it now?
It's possible, yes. Because I'm very curious about the energy of it. Ever since I've had that experience, absolutely.
So when I encounter demonic activity, I'm clairsentient. So other people cannot smell the smells that I smell. And I know that sounds strange, but sometimes it will be sulfur. But most of the time, I know it's demonic because I smell cinnamon. Isn't that weird? I think it's my spirit guides coming in, like, warning me of spicy. Oh, hell's here, boo. It's spicy. You smell that cinnamon. Ew, you cut out again.
I'm getting, like, red marks on my chest.
Are you really?
That's weird.
Well, your name tag's in front of you, so you'd have to, like, sit up a little bit higher.
Can you see it?
Oh, it's like a rash. Yeah.
That's weird. Anyway, it's fine. Get out.
It's the cinnamon. I'm just kidding.
Cinnamon.
It's spicy demons. Demon House. I saw Demon House when it premiered. I was in the same theater as Zach. I didn't know he was sitting behind me. Asshole didn't say hi until it was over, and he scared the shit out of me. But yeah, when Demon House premiered in the theater had all kinds of problems. The lights were flashing. The film stopped a couple of times. It was a mess.
Oh my gosh.
It was, and everyone, and like, I didn't know he was behind me the whole time. So you can hear the whole audience, like, talking shit, like, is it a ghost? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And, like, it was a mess. Like, then, like, before the movie was even on, like, done, like, the documentary, the lights, like, in the whole house came on. And it was, like, everyone's, like, it was, like, okay, well, it's almost done, get out now. Like, so, yeah, that energy is, like, very, very prevalent when you've been around it. Well, you just know it, period. Like, when you've been around it, you just know it.
It's interesting because I've seen the documentary by myself, and Krystal put it on once at her house when I came to Vegas to visit, and I was pacing for, like, the solid time that documentary was on that TV. I don't even know why, to be totally honest with you. I couldn't stop pacing.
Someone said that's so weird because cinnamon is the only scent they use to cover the smell of bodies in apartments when someone passes on.
Well, that's terrifying.
Thank you for letting me know how messed up I am.
I had a friend who used to help with cleanup, and it was a cinnamon smell.
Ew.
Wow. That makes sense, though. That makes sense.
That creeps me out. Yeah, if I'm around something dark, and I'll be like, I've done it even with you, even when it's not dark. I'm clairsentient. I can get, it's gross. I'm the kind of, I get this thing where, like, I can look at a picture of somebody, and like, literally on my phone, and I can tell you how they smell. I hate that, because sometimes it's not pleasant, you know what I mean? But like
No,
I'll look at Cat and I'll be like, do you smell that? Or you know what I mean? Like it smells like cinnamon, and I know it's my warning for something. You're about to encounter something dark. I know it's my warning for it. And then ugh, I did not know they used it to cover dead bodies. It's messed up. It's so messed
I
up.
have heard people, I can't remember what show I was watching where it happened, or if someone told me about an experience, but someone was somewhere in Europe where the bubonic plague was, and they kept smelling a strong scent of flowers. And they're like, this is so weird, because you're literally in the middle of this like granite or like stone building, and come to find out, you think of that nursery rhyme, Ring Around the Rosy, a pocket full of posy. That was the bubonic plague.
Ooh.
That was based off the bubonic plague. So it was Ring Around the Rosy, because you'd start to get like red rashes. A pocket full of posies, which were flowers that would be put in someone's clothing to help them smell better, because of how bad they smelled from the bubonic plague.
Ew.
Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. They would burn the bodies after they died.
The creepy part about that too is that's a nursery rhyme that sometimes if you're filming on the 4th floor of the Stanley Hotel, you'll hear the little kids sing that song. You do? Yeah, on the 4th. The 4th floor was the nursery, and that was where the nannies stayed for like the rich, and that was where the children lived, was the 4th floor. Mainly the wing that's on, I think it's more of like the west wing. But yeah, I've gotten EVPs up there where you can hear little kids singing, and like there's an area in there you can like stand, and if you listen careful enough, you can hear wind, like they're going in a circle, or like ash, when you do the circle thing. So that's weird. Oh.
I mean, I'm just saying, I'd rather smell flowers than
cinnamon.
The plague.
Oh.
Okay, or that. No, I mean, I actually rather smell cinnamon myself. I'm not gonna lie. But if we're talking about bubonic plague victims, I'd rather smell flowers than anything else.
Yeah, same. I mean, rather than demons, and it's cinnamon's better than sulfur, because like that's when I'm looking around like who had Chipotle for lunch and who decided to film on set with Chipotle in their stomach.
I haven't had Chipotle in so long.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it. I had a camera tech that did it to me once. Okay.
Oh wait, I didn't think you told me that once.
I did. I had a camera tech that filmed with me in Denver one time, and we had to crawl up this ladder to this attic that was just like really bad. The attic had like burned twice in the same place. It was weird. It was so bad. Anyway, we cut for lunch after we did B-roll, and I said, don't eat anything heavy, man. You will cause us all to suffer. And he went to Chipotle and ate a burrito. And we were in the attic, which was very hard to access, and he almost shat himself from the Chipotle. And we kept thinking we were smelling demons. So honest to God, I have a rule book for when we're on set, and you're not allowed to eat beans or Chipotle, because you don't want to kill us. We don't want to become ghosts.
No.
And I might get it confused with a demon. Was it you? Was it the camera tech? Or was it a demon? Now I don't know.
We just need to break out the cinnamon incense. Okay?
I'd rather have cinnamon. That's creepy, man. That it covers dead bodies. That's just plain messed up. Like, oh my God.
I mean, I think that's interesting. I mean, that's so accurate.
Ugh.
Like, validation. That's awesome.
Ugh. I'm messed up. I don't know why I got all the weird gifts, but it's fine. Okay. It's fun. So you think you have an unhealthy obsession with Annabelle. That's good to know. So I have that on warning.
Look, I'm just saying, if we had a chance to go and visit Annabelle again, I'd visit.
No, I mean, I would too. I don't think Tony would invite me back at this point because of some of the things I've said about him, but it's fine. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, now Elfie got in on here, and she found some cool shit, because that's just Elfie.
Thank you, Elfie.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Elfie loves her research. She's a freak when it comes to research. So she was like, look, I've heard about all of these other dolls, but like I want to talk about some dolls that not a lot of people like know about. And then you wanted to talk about witch balls. That's a mood. Witch balls.
True, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna butcher this, so don't come for me. Okaku? O-K-I-K-U, Okaku? I believe that's right. Okiku? God, Elfie, you had to give me all these hard words. I can't even pronounce it. The doll resides in a temple, and I'm gonna slaughter that. gonna slaughter. Hang on, just stand by.
Oh.
Elevator music. Japanese. Okay, it's Japan. It's a city in Japan that I cannot pronounce. And it's spelled Hokkaido. So, she says that it looks like it's a pretty ancient story of this doll, but it was a doll that was supposedly bought in 1918 by a 17-year-old boy, and he bought it for his 3-year-old sister. It said that she loved her new doll so much she took it everywhere with her, even sleeping with her in bed. And she gave it kind of a new hairstyle, it looks like. And she cropped its bangs very bluntly and then the back. The child, which was his sister, suddenly died after about 1.5 years after a cold. But the family decided to keep the doll in sort of like a family shrine and named it after their daughter that had deceased. And then they said that after the girl died, strange things started to happen with the doll. So they assumed that the child's spirit sort of attached herself to the doll. See, now these kind of stories make sense to me. Because absolutely, why wouldn't that happen when you lost your child and, like, that's her favorite toy? Like, why wouldn't you keep it? Like, I feel like there's so many times with paranormal stories that people forget these people were human like us. Like, they want to look at it as a ghost story, and you're not realizing the empathetic side of, like, this was a child that died, and it was really sad and traumatic for this family. So, suddenly now the family's claiming that the hair on the doll is actually starting to grow, and they believe that the doll essentially became fully possessed by the child that died. So, in 1938, the family decided to give the doll to this religious temple because they were sort of afraid and scared that she was manifesting herself through it. Probably in the cultural beliefs, we're afraid that she hadn't, like, crossed on, or she was stuck or something and didn't know what to do with it. Now, it's actually gotten to the point, at this point, where the scientists have examined the doll, and they have found that the hair is actually human that continues to grow out of the doll, which is super crazy. Somebody's talking about they know Japanese. That's great. I'm so happy that you're here, because I don't. And I'm obsessed with Japanese culture. I love Japan. Someday, Tokyo, I'm going to be there. But, so, it says that there's no photos that are allowed to be taken by the doll. The doll's hair is now knee length, even though they cut the hair, still to this day. It still continues to grow. And it says people have claimed they've seen the mouth growing of the doll, and that her teeth can be seen inside of her mouth growing as well. And it says that the doll is in the temple to keep it sort of safe. I'm just reading through the rest of Elfie's notes really quickly. It says they have a doll memorial celebration to give respect to the doll. But they hold on to the doll because they're concerned that the child's spirit is still in there. Wow, that's, like, crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So I would need to see pictures. I would need to be in the presence of it to, like, give an opinion on it personally. But, like, I'm not going to deny it if there's scientists that have been involved in it, and obviously they've tested the hair to see if it's human. That's kind of strange.
Weird.
Well, it is weird, but it's a cultural thing, because you don't know what their beliefs are specifically, and, like, if they believe... Obviously, they want to be religious, which is why they put it in the temple. But if it's still growing and it's still in the temple, that means not only religious things can stop possession from happening sometimes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's not doing anything, like, violent, I guess it's cool to just, like, dude, just chill in the temple. You know what I mean? Like,
Given it occasional trimmings.
I know. It's like, what a random thing to say. Well...
I don't know.
You know, honey, your hair's been growing for a while now, so I feel like we need to, like, take it back just a little bit.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Mr. Fritz is a I hate
ventriloquist.
Yeah, I don't do do you like dummies, like ventriloquist dummies? Like, I'm not a fan of those.
Well, they remind me of Goosebumps.
Me too. That's my trauma. Okay, that's the only kind of dolls I don't like, because it reminds me of Goosebumps. I'm like, ugh. So this is a dummy, and he started his little life in Germany. Why did all the haunted dolls start in Germany? What's going on in Germany?
Oh, man.
It was a prisoner of a war camp, and the creator of the dummy was shot at the camp weeks before the war ended, and then the dummy was sent back home to the family. Mr. Fritz has been passed through multiple collectors, never staying around for too long because of his haunts. The most recent owner found out that the door case for him was open, so he placed a camera on Mr. Fritz to record it, and he saw that the eyes and mouth were moving on the dummy.
Gosh, okay. I think I've seen video of this.
Have
I
you?
should send it to you. Yeah, like he's in a glass case, and you can clearly see.
See, now this would freak me out. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm not I don't get scared of dolls. I don't really get scared of clowns. Like, the only kind of clowns I get scared of is when they're like actively jumping out at you. Like, anything that jumps out at me that's gonna make me scream. You know what I mean? But like with this, what is it with the ventriloquist? Like, why is it creepy? Is it because the jaw is like one piece and it's like, blah, 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 you know what I mean? Like, what, and like the eyes, like.
Just the way they make them.
It is. Those do make me feel nauseous. I don't know why.
Goosebumps.
It's got to be Goosebumps. I'm going to blame R.L. Stine for that one. Okay, Letta is an Australian haunted doll from 1972. She was discovered underneath a porch in Australia, estimated to be about 200 years old. Possibly Romanian? Wow. A psychic claimed that it was made by a Romanian person after their child had drowned, and the psychic claims that her spirit was transferred into the doll.
We know how that worked out last time.
Yeah, we've heard this story before. Letta has real human hair and a toy brain. He has caused it to rain outside, and he knocks on picture frames and shoves them off the walls. Dogs have also been known to want to attack the doll, and he emits some sort of like a real pulse. People also feel great sadness when they're around him. That's kind of sad. The ventriloquist doll is the only one that really creeps me out really bad. Like, so.
I mean, toy brain's a little weird.
Yeah, why would you put in a toy brain? And it's 200 years old. Like, you had to have thought about that like quite a while ago.
Wait, what does a toy brain look like? I feel like.
Haven't you seen the like Papa, like what are those called? Those like collector toys they've been cutting it open on like TikTok, and they have like a plastic brain inside. You haven't seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I wouldn't waste the doll or the toy by cutting it open just for a plastic brain. So how do you protect yourself from haunted dolls? Through witch balls, of course.
Through witch balls. Glass witch balls. Okay. So the witch balls I wanted to talk about because it corresponded with the island of the dolls, because there were some witch balls hanging.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to talk about that. Yeah.
I forgot to.
Why do you think the purpose? Okay, so if you have a doll, you have an island that's abandoned in the middle of Mexico, in the middle of water, no like electric outlet, and thousands of creepy doll pieces hanging all over the place. Why are you going to put witch balls up to stop what you've now created? That makes no sense to me.
I know. It almost feels like somebody or Julian that, for putting the dolls up felt like it kind of got out of hand, or the energy got out of hand. But they claim that if you have like a hollow glass ball that's like suspended in a window or in an area that has like high activity, it will like ward off evil spirits, or evil spirits will be like attracted to the beauty of the ball. And they're these like glass blown, really pretty ornate glass balls. I don't really know.
So at what point is your ball full?
That's a really good question.
At what point do you have to get rid of your full ball?
Okay, here's a theory. Perhaps glass balls break.
Okay. But then do you release the spirits? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's messed up. Okay,
that's messed up, Catch.
I just had a revelation, and that did not sound. I was trying to think of like crystals. Like when they say when a crystal is like served its purpose and like
it
you don't
like
need
busts.
it break.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that wouldn't make sense.
I don't want no broken glass balls. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like that's dangerous. But anyway, yeah, the balls can be any. Balls come in all shapes and sizes. You know what I mean?
They're colorful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. They can be designed. They can be ornate. It
can be big and little, at the same time. So if you see people with glass balls hanging in their kitchen, I would ask these people if they are witches, okay?
Yeah, true. If you go on a date with somebody and they have balls hanging from the ceiling, they're a witch when. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that means that they have an evil spirit in their house, and you should probably just dip on out because they're trying to catch the evil spirit in their balls. Oh, God. Okay. Don't get Kat and I ranting because we'll just lose it. You know what I mean?
We talk about balls for the next 30 minutes. It's fine. It'd be great.
Oh, God. It's like the Vlad, when we did Vlad the Impaler. That was pretty rough.
Oh, my God. I was, like, impaled.
Oh, God. You're like, they took the staff up his hole, and I was like, Kat, what are you doing?
It's like, I don't know how else to say it. Things were inserted places. Okay.
So, okay, do we think dolls can be haunted? For sure.
Yes. Absolutely.
Do we think objects can be haunted? For sure. Also for sure. Once again, you know, the horror stories are always of people being like, I told the doll off. But why are you, like, is your ego that inflated that you're going to go up to an inanimate object and, like, tell it to F off? And then you get, like, bad karma or you get in a car wreck? Like, why are you telling inanimate... If you don't believe, then why are you telling it off, is my question.
I feel like it also starts with some of these psychics, man. No hate to psychics, but, man, it always seems to get triggered worst when they get the advice of a psychic. So maybe don't do that.
I don't believe... I mean, I have a really big issue with psychics. I really do.
Yeah.
I'm very lenient and careful with who I listen to that has, quote, abilities, just because...
Yeah.
They could be wanting money and, you know what I mean? Like... And I mean,
really
you know, you don't know what their intentions are. Yeah, like, if you really have those kind of abilities, could they push something or force something to go into said inanimate object? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, could that psychic cause the bad demonic thing to go into Annabelle? I don't know. Like, it's kind of like going back to Lizzie Borden for a minute. There was a psychic that was working there. I know I've talked about this before, and I'm going to get on my soapbox. Everybody get ready. There was a psychic that was at Lizzie Borden's, and she claimed to have spoke to Lizzie herself. Which, by the way, there has been no evidentiary proof that Lizzie's still there. Everybody but Lizzie is there, essentially. But this psychic, I say it with air quotes, this psychic said that Lizzie Borden claimed that she was molested by her father, and that was why she murdered her stepmom and her father. But there's been no proof backing that up. And then what happens after that, everybody goes into Lizzie Borden's and starts accusing the Bordens in ghost form of being child molesters. And there's no proof. It was just because a psychic said that. And, like, that stuff is what pisses me off so bad. And then all of a sudden, the Bordens, the mom and dad that are still living there, because that's who's there in spirit form, there's all these angry things happening. They're knocking things off the wall. They're tilting tables over. They're getting mad. Wouldn't you, if you were starting to get accused by strangers of child molestation? I'm not saying it did happen, and I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying that unless it's a fact, like what we're supposed to go off to with historical information, or you've captured it via like spirit box or some other way of information, you shouldn't be going around accusing spirits of that.
Yeah, the activity did spike a lot, really aggressively. There were photos of even some investigators and people staying there of like having really bad scratches and like bruises on their bodies.
Well, yeah, it went from being a somewhat pleasant place to stay and investigate, like the Stanley Hotel. And then it took a really dark turn because all these investigators are now going in, making a muck of the place, like literally.
Well, talking about, mentioning things they don't really know about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a little too late for that theory.
Well, it is, but now you're going in with these people that are now owning Lizzie Borden who are tweeting from the dead manager's account. They need to be releasing an apology because it's somebody from within there. They need to release a public apology, and I think they're trash, honestly. If they're letting their employees or not taking accountability for it, I think it's trash.
Crazy.
I mean, imagine that being your family member who died in June and then somebody's tweeting from the account. You're right. If it was hacked by a bot or hacked by someone else, it would be like retweeting porn or something weird or some random links. Yeah.
Funny.
it wouldn't be this heartfelt response of, I'm okay where I'm at. Who do you think is actually going to buy that anyways?
It's messed up.
It is. Some sick, twisted person.
You know, the only good thing with social media now and just like with the internet in general is you can trace everything.
Yep.
So
Amen.
Hopefully whoever it is, you can be traced back to whoever the heck it was.
And karma always repays its debts, you know?
Always. Yeah.
If you put out good in the world, you'll get good back. And if you put out evil intent, that will also come back.
True.
So, that's all the tea I have.
Tea.
I feel like Kat and I are the only two that spill the tea. Elfie's like, I don't want to spill the tea. I'm like, okay, I'll do it with Kat. It's fine. Oh,
Random.
happy late birthday to Elfie, too. Her birthday was last week. Happy late birthday. Go ahead.
So dolls as tech equipment. I didn't even know that doll was a thing. I just want to like mention.
Wait, what? Okay, dolls as tech equipment. Oh yes, it is.
So we have like the EMF bear, Boo Buddy, which is pretty much an EMF bear, which is a different name. They have a Daisy Trigger doll.
I think Boo Bear has like an ovulus in it, where the EMF bear we own the EMF bear, but I don't have Boo Buddy. Yeah. I think the Boo Bear, all it is it has an ovulus in it, so it's just, but it's like a $400 teddy bear with an ovulus. It's like, okay.
It's weird. But if you scroll down in the notes, Krystal, look at Daisy.
Daisy? You mean the
Daisy
doll?
Yeah.
Who put that picture?
I did. I needed you to see a visual, okay?
Let me
this
just,
doll,
I'm going to share this with everybody, okay?
Please do, because this doll is whack. Like...
So who is Daisy? Because she's going to give me nightmares.
No, but literally someone created that. Like, you can buy this doll.
Oh, this is an EMF doll?
Yeah, look at it.
That's horrifying. That's demonic.
Isn't it?
Yeah, whoever...
Literally.
Yeah, that's a mistake. And I bet you they're charging like $800 for it, too.
Probably. I went on the website, so I have to send it to you later. It's
How
hilarious.
much was it?
Expensive.
What is it called?
Wait. Okay.
Daisy the Trigger doll?
Trigger doll. Okay, here it is here. It's at funkylighting.com.
Funky Lighting? Okay.
Yeah,
that's a new company.
It's
Oh.
$129.
They're out of the UK, and it has a built-in K2 meter, which those are kind of shit to investigate with anyways.
Right. But
So
the
that's,
eyes like glow.
That's
too.
why they're only it's only $100, but like...
That's terrifying.
It's horrifying, honestly.
Are dolls really haunted is a question on the website.
This is Daisy. She comes with an electrostatic sensor. When
Daisy's
activated, is displayed via Bluetooth lit eyes. Yeah, that's horrible, whoever decided that. She also has a K2 style EMF circuit built right into her on her chest area. The sensor also triggers a sound buzzer when activated. The eyes feature a glow-in-the-dark coating, which leaves a lasting glow after each trigger. That's... Who's writing your descriptions?
I mean, props to them.
Oh my God.
I mean, they're very descriptive, you know what I'm saying?
The activation has to take place in a dark environment. Power is then supplied with a 9-volt battery on the underside of the sitting doll. The EMF circuit can be turned on and off via a hidden button. Oh my God. The doll has a flexible wire antenna coming out of her head. Holy shit. My God.
Yeah.
This is an electrostatic sensor antenna which should be handled with care and not overly bent or crushed at its exit point. Oh, it's a porcelain doll. That's dangerous. If it falls over, it's going to break. There goes the $150. Darn, you have to buy a new one. That's exactly what they want.
Crazy. They have 4 different angles of her. Look at that. Look at the third angle.
Oh, there is.
Your feet.
Ooh. Well, her dress looks like it's a little ripped.
We should link this. Hang on. I'm going to link this in the chat, you guys.
Ugh, Cat.
We're going to link this everywhere because this is hilarious. Okay, I'm linking it on YouTube and Twitch, y'all. Okay. I'm just saying.
Oh my God. Created by hand. Our haunted dolls are first totally deconstructed to base components. They are theatrically aged, painted, and then distressed.
Theatrically aged.
The idea is that they should look like they are old and lost in a long forgotten toy discovered in an old basement. Okay. They said they are much like a film prop in a horror movie. Yeah, it looks like that, pretty much, 100%. And you just got some free advertising. If you want to sponsor by Ghost Girl Diaries, hit me up, Krystal@ghostgirldiaries.com. I'll promote your strange, creepy-ass doll. On that note, I will not be ordering one because it will haunt me in my dreams, and I'm shutting my laptop. Yeah, that's horrifying.
I had to put it in there. I'm sorry. I had to put it in.
Someone said it will also summon demons in 5 seconds flat. Jeez. Pretty much. Oh my god.
Pretty much. Gosh, this is where our combos go, you guys.
Yeah, if you want to go to funkylighting.com, I'm not sponsored by them yet. No, I'm just kidding. Gosh, it's messed up. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. That is our podcast for this week. I don't even know. What am I doing with Elfie next week? Do we even know the topic?
Let me look right now. We're just going to look right now.
I think she's on vacation right now, so I haven't chatted with her. But
no. She'll be back next week, though. And, where am I? What's happening?
It's probably, Mothman. I'm pretty sure it's Mothman.
Oh, Mothman. That is correct. You're correct.
That is going to be a good one because she's been to Mothman's encampment, okay? Like, you guys are getting behind the scenes, like, paranormal state chat that, like, she's never talked about before. And that is the shit I love. You know what? I had a question on my, like, final note. Krystal's final thoughts. We'll call it Krystal's final thoughts. It's a witchy corner with Krystal, okay? I had a message from somebody on social media, and I thought it was really good. And they said, how did you get Elfie involved with Ghost Girl Diaries? And I didn't want to respond because I thought it would be a really cool story to share. It's really short. So when I first started Ghost Girl Diaries, like literally like 10 years ago, I remember I was a huge fan of Paranormal State. And at the time I had a co-owner, and I remember looking over at my co-owner, and I was like, he was like, you should think about like what you want to visualize for Ghost Girl Diaries. And this was like even before I started YouTube. And he was like, you should get, like, inspiration from other shows or whatever. So I remember watching Paranormal State. And I'd seen it before. But I looked at him and I was like, I'm going to be working with Elfie from Paranormal State. And he was like, what? Like, what? Like, what's Elfie from, like, let me know how that works. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And, I was like, I'm telling you, someday I'm going to work with Elfie. I just know it. It was probably past life connection thing. You know what I mean? Like, when you just know, you know, type of thing. Same with, like, Kat and I are, like, old past life shit we've been through, you know? So many things in Kat and my life have, like, correlated. It's really creepy. So, we're, like, sisters from another mister, you know what I'm saying? So, anyway, about 5 years ago, I found out through the grapevine of, like, friends and, like, producers that Elfie was a fan of Ghost Girl Diaries. So at this point, like, I'd already been working for, like, 5 years doing, like, YouTube, blah, blah, and, like, and I was like, what? Like, what? Shut up. You know, it's like, I was totally, like, fanning out. You know, like, no way. Like, Elfie knows me. Like, because there were some other people that had messaged me. Sergey had messaged me. Sergey, is that how you pronounce his name? From Paranormal State 2, and some other people. Anyway, found out Elfie was a fan. So then one day out of the blue, I got a notification that Elfie was following me on Instagram. I had a lucid moment. I went into like a sheer state of panic. I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? And I was like just freaking out, you know what I mean? And like I wasn't gonna, like, I'd already been following her, but I wasn't gonna say anything. I was just like, just be chill, you know what I mean? Like, and like it was so bad. I was out of my body. It was so bad. And then, like, a couple weeks went by, and Elfie messaged me on Instagram. And I was, like, panicking. I was like, oh, my God. I think I even, like, didn't message her back for, like, a week because I was, like, scared to say the wrong thing. Like, literally. I was like, what's wrong with you, Krystal? My God, get a grip. Get it together. And,
every day.
I know. So I messaged her back, and she was like, dude, like, love the female empowerment shit. Like, you know what I mean? And so we had, we stayed in contact, we exchanged phone numbers, been friends for like a few years at that point. And then 2020 happened, which we all know with COVID. And she had messaged me a few times, and she was like, dude, like, I want to come on a podcast. Like, we should do. And I was like, oh my God, you, Elfie from Paranormal State, wants to come on my podcast? Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, I was still having a moment. It's like, Jesus, like, issues, man. And we couldn't get together. And then in January, or maybe it was December of last year, like, literally just this past one, I messaged her and I was like, dude, let's just, like, do the thing. Like, we keep saying we're going to do it. Like, let's just do the thing. And she's amazing. Like I don't know if I manifested that, but, like, you love Elf. Like, we're, like, the same person times 3.
So true. Like, we all just, like, vibe really well.
It's amazing.
Really, yeah, like, perfect.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Elfie's the shit. She's the poo.
We love you, Elfie.
Yeah, we love her. And, you know, Kat's obviously the poo, too. She's amazing, too. And, yeah, we're in this together. You like what you do, right? Do you like being here?
I love it.
You're not. You're not miserable? You know what I mean?
No, I miss Vegas so much too.
Yeah.
I miss it so much.
Well, soon.
Panini needs to go away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. Whatever. We're just gonna have to deal with it. Just have to work around it.
It's true. We're still doing the thing, and proud of that.
Yeah.
Proud of that.
I'm proud of my crew. We've won
I love
4 film festivals. So haters, that's what I think.
Yay! Yeah. So really, hard work always pays off in the end.
Yep, I'm proud of everybody. So thank you. And last thing I want to say is thank you to our fans, because we wouldn't be here without you. We just had another phenomenal blowout month. We had 2,500 downloads in 1 month on our podcast. That's across all of our, we're on literally Pandora, everywhere. Literally iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes. We're literally everywhere. But we had a phenomenal month. It just keeps getting better, which is why I'm going to try to keep pushing TikTok even more. And just, thank you guys for your support this whole time, because it's just getting better and better. And, like, we love you guys, and we appreciate you guys so much. Schedule coming up. Mothman's going to be good, and I think one more stream after that's going to be good. There's a possibility after the next 2 weeks that I might be going MIA again. And that's just because work. So keep staying up to date on TikTok, because our TikTok's going awesome. Follow us on social media. Make sure you download our podcast. And thank you guys. We appreciate you so much for supporting us all these years. And as always, we will catch you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Back from the dead.